Be able to.
Be able to.
することができる。
She is able to solve the problem.
She is able to solve the problem.
彼女はその問題を解決できる。
He was able to finish the project on time.
He was able to finish the project on time.
彼はそのプロジェクトを時間内に終えることができた。
They will be able to attend the meeting.
They will be able to attend the meeting.
彼らはその会議に出席できるだろう。
Be able to.
Be able to.
A variety of.
A variety of.
さまざまな。
The store offers a variety of products.
The store offers a variety of products.
その店はさまざまな製品を提供している。
She enjoys a variety of hobbies.
She enjoys a variety of hobbies.
彼女はさまざまな趣味を楽しんでいる。
They serve a variety of dishes at the restaurant.
They serve a variety of dishes at the restaurant.
レストランではさまざまな料理を提供している。
A variety of.
A variety of.
Be interested in.
Be interested in.
に興味がある。
I'm interested in learning new languages.
I'm interested in learning new languages.
新しい言語を学ぶことに興味がある。
She's interested in Japanese culture.
She's interested in Japanese culture.
彼女は日本文化に興味がある。
They're interested in ancient history.
They're interested in ancient history.
彼らは古代の歴史に興味がある。
Be interested in.
Be interested in.
Be likely to.
Be likely to.
しそうである。
It is likely to rain tomorrow.
It is likely to rain tomorrow.
明日は雨が降りそうだ。
She is likely to win the competition.
She is likely to win the competition.
彼女はその競技で勝ちそうだ。
He is likely to be late for the meeting.
He is likely to be late for the meeting.
彼は会議に遅刻しそうだ。
Be likely to.
Be likely to.
Be supposed to.
Be supposed to.
することになっている。
You are supposed to submit the report by Friday.
You are supposed to submit the report by Friday.
金曜日までに報告書を提出することになっている。
He is supposed to be at the office by 9 a.m.
He is supposed to be at the office by 9 a.m.
彼は午前9時までにオフィスにいることになっている。
The event is supposed to start at noon.
The event is supposed to start at noon.
イベントは正午に始まることになっている。
Be supposed to.
Be supposed to.
Be aware of.
Be aware of.
に気づいている。
She is aware of the risks involved.
She is aware of the risks involved.
彼女は関わるリスクに気づいている。
They are aware of the new regulations.
They are aware of the new regulations.
彼らは新しい規則に気づいている。
He was not aware of the changes.
He was not aware of the changes.
彼は変更に気づいていなかった。
Be aware of.
Be aware of.
Break down.
Break down.
故障する。
The car broke down on the way to work.
The car broke down on the way to work.
仕事に行く途中で車が故障した。
My computer broke down during the presentation.
My computer broke down during the presentation.
プレゼンテーション中にコンピュータが故障した。
The washing machine broke down again.
The washing machine broke down again.
洗濯機がまた故障した。
Break down.
break down,
bring up,
bring up.
を育てる。
She brought up 3 children on her own.
She brought up 3 children on her own.
彼女は一人で3人の子供を育てた。
He was brought up in a small town.
He was brought up in a small town.
彼は小さな町で育った。
They brought up the topic during the meeting.
They brought up the topic during the meeting.
彼らは会議中にその話題を持ち出した。
Bring up,
Bring up,
call off,
call off.
を中止する。
The match was called off due to rain.
The match was called off due to rain.
雨のため試合が中止された。
They called off the event at the last minute.
They called off the event at the last minute.
彼らは直前にイベントを中止した。
The meeting was called off unexpectedly.
The meeting was called off unexpectedly.
会議が予期せず中止された。
Call off,
Call off.
catch up with,
Catch up with.
に追いつく。
She had to run to catch up with her friends.
She had to run to catch up with her friends.
彼女は友達に追いつくために走らなければならなかった。
He needs to catch up with his studies.
He needs to catch up with his studies.
彼は勉強に追いつく必要がある。
They finally caught up with the rest of the group.
They finally caught up with the rest of the group.
彼らはついにグループの残りに追いついた。
Catch up with,
Catch up with.
come along with.
Come along with.
と一緒に来る。
He came along with his sister to the party.
He came along with his sister to the party.
彼は妹と一緒にパーティーに来た。
She asked if I could come along with her.
She asked if I could come along with her.
彼女は私が一緒に来られるかどうか尋ねた。
They decided to come along with us on the trip.
They decided to come along with us on the trip.
彼らは旅行に一緒に行くことにした。
Come along with,
Come along with.
come out.
Come out.
現れる。
The sun came out after the storm.
The sun came out after the storm.
嵐の後に太陽が出てきた。
Her new book is coming out next month.
Her new book is coming out next month.
彼女の新しい本が来月出版される。
The truth eventually came out.
The truth eventually came out.
結局のところ真実が明らかになった。
Come out.
Come out.
Fall down.
Fall down.
転ぶ。
She fell down and hurt her knee.
She fell down and hurt her knee.
彼女は転んで膝を痛めた。
The old building might fall down soon.
The old building might fall down soon.
その古い建物はすぐに崩れるかもしれない。
He tripped and fell down the stairs.
He tripped and fell down the stairs.
彼はつまずいて階段から転げ落ちた。
Fall down.
Fall down.
For good.
For good.
永久に。
She moved to Canada for good.
She moved to Canada for good.
彼女は永久にカナダに移住した。
He quit smoking for good.
He quit smoking for good.
彼は永久に禁煙した。
They left the city for good.
They left the city for good.
彼らは永久にその都市を去った。
For good.
For good.
For the sake of.
For the sake of.
のために。
She did it for the sake of her family.
She did it for the sake of her family.
彼女は家族のためにそれをした。
He worked hard for the sake of his career.
He worked hard for the sake of his career.
彼はキャリアのために一生懸命働いた。
They stayed together for the sake of the children.
They stayed together for the sake of the children.
子供たちのために彼らは一緒に行った。
For the sake of.
For the sake of.
Give in.
Give in.
屈服する。
She refused to give in to the pressure.
She refused to give in to the pressure.
彼女はその圧力に屈することを拒否した。
He didn't give in to temptation.
He didn't give in to temptation.
彼は誘惑に屈しなかった。
They finally gave in and agreed to the terms.
They finally gave in and agreed to the terms.
彼らはついに屈してその条件に同意した。
Give in.
Give in.
Go back on.
Go back on.
を裏切る。
He never goes back on his word.
He never goes back on his word.
彼は決して約束を破らない。
She went back on her promise to help.
She went back on her promise to help.
彼女は助けるという約束を破った。
They went back on their agreement.
They went back on their agreement.
彼らは合意を破った。
Go back on.
Go back on.
Have nothing to do with.
Have nothing to do with.
と関係がない。
This has nothing to do with me.
This has nothing to do with me.
これは私とは関係がない。
He has nothing to do with the project.
He has nothing to do with the project.
彼はそのプロジェクトとは関係がない。
They have nothing to do with each other anymore.
They have nothing to do with each other anymore.
彼らはもうお互いに関係がない。
Have nothing to do with.
Have nothing to do with.
In any case.
In any case.
いずれにせよ。
In any case, we need to finish this task.
In any case, we need to finish this task.
いずれにせよ、この仕事を終わらせる必要がある。
He will come in any case.
He will come in any case.
いずれにせよ、彼は来るだろ
In any case, the meeting will start at 3 p.m.
In any case, the meeting will start at 3 p.m.
う。いずれにせよ、会議は午後3時に始まる。
In any case.
In any case.
In particular.
In particular.
特に。
I like fruits, apples in particular.
I like fruits, apples in particular.
私は果物が好きで、特にリンゴが好きです。
She enjoyed the movie, in particular, the ending.
She enjoyed the movie, in particular, the ending.
彼女はその映画を楽しみ、特にその結末が良かった。
They are interested in history, in particular, ancient history.
They are interested in history, in particular, ancient history.
彼らは歴史、特に古代の歴史に興味がある。
In particular.
In particular.
In terms of.
In terms of.
の観点から。
In terms of cost, this option is better.
In terms of cost, this option is better.
費用の観点から、このオプションの方が良い。
In terms of quality, their product is superior.
In terms of quality, their product is superior.
品質の観点から、彼らの製品は優れている。
In terms of performance, he is the best.
In terms of performance, he is the best.
成績の観点から彼は最も優れている。
In terms of.
In terms of.
Insist on.
Insist on.
を主張する。
She insists on paying for dinner.
She insists on paying for dinner.
彼女は夕食代を払うことを主張する。
He insists on his innocence.
He insists on his innocence.
彼は無実を主張している。
They insisted on having the meeting today.
They insisted on having the meeting today.
彼らは今日会議を開くことを主張した。
Insist on.
Insist on.
Keep on.
Keep on.
続ける。
He kept on working despite the difficulties.
He kept on working despite the difficulties.
彼は困難にもかかわらず働き続けた。
She kept on talking even though it was late.
She kept on talking even though it was late.
彼女は遅くなっても話し続けた。
They kept on walking until they reached the town.
They kept on walking until they reached the town.
彼らは町に着くまで歩き続けた。
Keep on.
Keep on.
Write down.
Write down.
を書き留める。
She wrote down the instructions.
She wrote down the instructions.
彼女は指示を書き留めた。
He wrote down his thoughts in a journal.
He wrote down his thoughts in a journal.
彼は日記に考えを書き留めた。
They wrote down the list of items needed.
They wrote down the list of items needed.
彼らは必要な品目のリストを書き留めた。
Write down.
Write down.
Add up.
Add up.
意味をなす。
His story doesn't add up.
His story doesn't add up.
彼の話は意味をなさない。
The numbers don't add up correctly.
The numbers don't add up correctly.
数字が正しく合わない。
Everything she said adds up.
Everything she said adds up.
彼女が言ったことはすべて意味をなす。
Add up.
Add up.
After all.
After all.
結局のところ。
After all, it was just a misunderstanding.
After all, it was just a misunderstanding.
結局のところ、それはただの誤解だった。
He came back after all these years.
He came back after all these years.
結局のところ、彼はこれらの年の後に戻ってきた。
After all the hard work, they succeeded.
After all the hard work, they succeeded.
結局のところ、彼らは努力の末に成功した。
After all.
After all.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
突然。
All of a sudden, the lights went out.
All of a sudden, the lights went out.
突然、電気が消えた。
She appeared all of a sudden.
She appeared all of a sudden.
彼女が突然現れた。
The weather changed all of a sudden.
The weather changed all of a sudden.
天気が突然変わった。
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
All the time.
All the time.
いつも。
He is busy all the time.
He is busy all the time.
彼はいつも忙しい。
She thinks about him all the time.
She thinks about him all the time.
彼女は彼のことをいつも考えている。
They are together all the time.
They are together all the time.
彼らはいつも一緒にいる。
All the time.
All the time.
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact.
実際のところ、
As a matter of fact, I do know her.
As a matter of fact, I do know her.
実際のところ、私は彼女を知っている。
As a matter of fact, he is my cousin.
As a matter of fact, he is my cousin.
実際のところ、彼は私のいとこです。
As a matter of fact, I have seen that movie.
As a matter of fact, I have seen that movie.
実際のところ、私はその映画を見たことがあります。
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact.
As far as I know.
As far as I know.
私の知る限り、
As far as I know, she is coming to the party.
As far as I know, she is coming to the party.
私の知る限り、彼女はパーティーに来る予定です。
As far as I know, he hasn't arrived yet.
As far as I know, he hasn't arrived yet.
私の知る限り、彼はまだ到着していません。
As far as I know, they are still in the meeting.
As far as I know, they are still in the meeting.
私の知る限り、彼らはまだ会議中です。
As far as I know.
As far as I know.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
できるだけ早く、
Please reply as soon as possible.
Please reply as soon as possible.
できるだけ早く返信してください。
He will finish the report as soon as possible.
He will finish the report as soon as possible.
彼はできるだけ早く報告書を仕上げます。
We need to leave as soon as possible.
We need to leave as soon as possible.
できるだけ早く出発する必要があります。
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
At least.
At least.
少なくとも、
You should sleep for at least 7 hours.
You should sleep for at least 7 hours.
少なくとも7時間は寝るべきです。
At least try to finish the assignment.
At least try to finish the assignment.
少なくとも課題を終わらせるようにして。
At least we have each other.
At least we have each other.
少なくとも私たちはお互いを持っています。
At least.
At least.
At the same time.
At the same time.
同時に、
She can sing and dance at the same time.
She can sing and dance at the same time.
彼女は同時に歌って踊ることができる。
He was laughing and crying at the same time.
He was laughing and crying at the same time.
彼は同時に笑って泣いていた。
They arrived at the same time.
They arrived at the same time.
彼らは同時に到着した。
At the same time.
At the same time.
As well as.
As well as.
だけでなく、
She is talented as well as hardworking.
She is talented as well as hardworking.
彼女は勤勉なだけでなく才能もある。
He speaks Spanish as well as French.
He speaks Spanish as well as French.
彼はフランス語だけでなくスペイン語も話す。
They visited the museum as well as the park.
They visited the museum as well as the park.
彼らは公園だけでなく博物館も訪れた。
As well as.
As well as.
Be accustomed to.
Be accustomed to.
に慣れている。
He is accustomed to waking up early.
He is accustomed to waking up early.
彼は早起きに慣れている。
She is accustomed to the cold weather.
She is accustomed to the cold weather.
彼女は寒い天気に慣れている。
They are accustomed to living in a big city.
They are accustomed to living in a big city.
彼らは大都市での生活に慣れている。
Be accustomed to.
Be accustomed to.
Be in charge of.
Be in charge of.
を担当している。
She is in charge of the project.
She is in charge of the project.
彼女はそのプロジェクトを担当している。
He is in charge of the sales department.
He is in charge of the sales department.
彼は営業部を担当している。
They are in charge of organizing the event.
They are in charge of organizing the event.
彼らはイベントの組織を担当している。
Be in charge of.
Be in charge of.
Break out.
Break out.
発生する。
A fire broke out in the kitchen.
A fire broke out in the kitchen.
台所で火事が発生した。
The war broke out unexpectedly.
The war broke out unexpectedly.
戦争が予期せず発生した。
An epidemic broke out in the city.
An epidemic broke out in the city.
都市で疫病が発生した。
Break out.
Break out.
By accident.
By accident.
偶然に。
She met him by accident at the cafe.
She met him by accident at the cafe.
彼女はカフェで彼に偶然会った。
He discovered the solution by accident.
He discovered the solution by accident.
彼は偶然にその解決策を発見した。
They found the hidden treasure by accident.
They found the hidden treasure by accident.
彼らは偶然に隠された宝物を見つけた。
By accident.
By accident.
By chance.
By chance.
偶然に。
She met her favorite actor by chance.
She met her favorite actor by chance.
彼女は偶然にお気に入りの俳優に会った。
He got the job by chance.
He got the job by chance.
彼は偶然にその仕事を手に入れた。
They discovered the place by chance.
They discovered the place by chance.
彼らは偶然にその場所を発見した。
By chance.
By chance.
By mistake.
By mistake.
間違って。
She took the wrong book by mistake.
She took the wrong book by mistake.
彼女は間違った本を取った。
He deleted the file by mistake.
He deleted the file by mistake.
彼は間違ってそのファイルを削除した。
They sent the invitation to the wrong address by mistake.
They sent the invitation to the wrong address by mistake.
彼らは間違った住所に招待状を送った。
By mistake.
By mistake.
By the way.
By the way.
ところで。
By the way, do you know where he is?
By the way, do you know where he is?
ところで、彼がどこにいるか知っていますか？
By the way, I have something to tell you.
By the way, I have something to tell you.
ところで、あなたに伝えたいことがあります。
By the way, how was your weekend?
By the way, how was your weekend?
ところで、週末はどうでしたか？
By the way.
By the way.
Go on with.
Go on with.
を続ける。
She decided to go on with her studies.
She decided to go on with her studies.
彼女は勉強を続けることに決めた。
He went on with his presentation despite the interruption.
He went on with his presentation despite the interruption.
彼は中断にもかかわらずプレゼンテーションを続けた。
They went on with their journey despite the rain.
They went on with their journey despite the rain.
雨にもかかわらず彼らは旅を続けた。
Go on with.
Go on with.
Go through.
Go through.
を経験する。
She went through a lot of hardships.
She went through a lot of hardships.
彼女は多くの苦労を経験した。
He went through the documents carefully.
He went through the documents carefully.
彼は慎重に書類を精査した。
They went through a tough time last year.
They went through a tough time last year.
彼らは昨年、困難な時期を経験した。
Go through.
Go through.
Grow out of.
Grow out of.
から成長する。
She grew out of her childhood fears.
She grew out of her childhood fears.
彼女は子供の頃の恐怖から成長した。
He grew out of his old clothes.
He grew out of his old clothes.
彼は古い服が合わなくなった。
They grew out of their bad habits.
They grew out of their bad habits.
彼らは悪い習慣から成長した。
Grow out of.
Grow out of.
Hand out.
Hand out.
を配布する。
The teacher handed out the worksheets.
The teacher handed out the worksheets.
先生はワークシートを配布した。
He handed out flyers on the street.
He handed out flyers on the street.
彼は通りでチラシを配布した。
They handed out gifts to the children.
They handed out gifts to the children.
彼らは子供たちにプレゼントを配った。
Hand out.
Hand out.
Have a look at.
Have a look at.
を見る。
She asked him to have a look at the report.
She asked him to have a look at the report.
彼女は彼にレポートを見てもらうように頼んだ。
He had a look at the new car.
He had a look at the new car.
彼は新しい車を見た。
They had a look at the house before buying it.
They had a look at the house before buying it.
彼らは購入前にその家を見た。
Have a look at.
Have a look at.
Have confidence in.
Have confidence in.
に自信を持つ。
She has confidence in her abilities.
She has confidence in her abilities.
彼女は自分の能力に自信を持っている。
He has confidence in the team's success.
He has confidence in the team's success.
彼はチームの成功に自信を持っている。
They have confidence in their plan.
They have confidence in their plan.
彼らは自分たちの計画に自信を持っている。
Have confidence in.
Have confidence in.
Make a profit.
Make a profit.
利益を上げる。
The company made a profit last year.
The company made a profit last year.
その会社は昨年利益を上げた。
He aims to make a profit from his investments.
He aims to make a profit from his investments.
彼は投資から利益を上げることを目指している。
They managed to make a profit despite the challenges.
They managed to make a profit despite the challenges.
彼らは困難にもかかわらず利益を上げることができた。
Make a profit.
Make a profit.
Make use of.
Make use of.
を利用する。
She made use of her free time to study.
She made use of her free time to study.
彼女は自由時間を勉強に利用した。
He made use of the resources available.
He made use of the resources available.
彼は利用可能な資源を利用した。
They made use of the opportunity.
They made use of the opportunity.
彼らはその機会を利用した。
Make use of.
Make use of.
Object to.
Object to.
に反対する。
She objected to the new policy.
She objected to the new policy.
彼女は新しい政策に反対した。
He objected to being treated unfairly.
He objected to being treated unfairly.
彼は不公平に扱われることに反対した。
They objected to the plan.
They objected to the plan.
彼らはその計画に反対した。
Object to.
Object to.
On the basis of.
On the basis of.
に基づいて。
The decision was made on the basis of facts.
The decision was made on the basis of facts.
決定は事実に基づいて行われた。
He was chosen on the basis of his experience.
He was chosen on the basis of his experience.
彼は経験に基づいて選ばれた。
They judged the case on the basis of evidence.
They judged the case on the basis of evidence.
彼らは証拠に基づいてその事件を判断した。
On the basis of.
On the basis of.
On the other hand.
On the other hand.
一方で。
She is strict, but on the other hand, she is kind.
She is strict, but on the other hand, she is kind.
彼女は厳しいが、一方で親切だ。
He is rich, but on the other hand, he is lonely.
He is rich, but on the other hand, he is lonely.
彼は裕福だが、一方で孤独だ。
The task is difficult, but on the other hand, it is rewarding.
The task is difficult, but on the other hand, it is rewarding.
その仕事は難しいが、一方でやりがいがある。
On the other hand.
On the other hand.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
たまに。
We go out for dinner once in a while.
We go out for dinner once in a while.
たまに外食に行く。
She visits her hometown once in a while.
She visits her hometown once in a while.
彼女はたまに故郷を訪れる。
He calls his parents once in a while.
He calls his parents once in a while.
彼はたまに両親に電話をかける。
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Out of sight.
Out of sight.
見えない。
The island disappeared out of sight.
The island disappeared out of sight.
島が見えなくなった。
She kept the money out of sight.
She kept the money out of sight.
彼女はお金を見えない場所に置いた。
The car drove out of sight.
The car drove out of sight.
車が見えなくなった。
Out of sight.
Out of sight.
Part with.
Part with.
を手放す。
She had to part with her favorite dress.
She had to part with her favorite dress.
彼女はお気に入りのドレスを手放さなければならなかった。
He parted with his old car.
He parted with his old car.
彼は古い車を手放した。
They didn't want to part with their belongings.
They didn't want to part with their belongings.
彼らは持ち物を手放したくなかった。
Part with.
Part with.
Pay attention to.
Pay attention to.
に注意を払う。
She pays attention to detail.
She pays attention to detail.
彼女は細部に注意を払う。
He needs to pay attention to his health.
He needs to pay attention to his health.
彼は健康に注意を払う必要がある。
They paid attention to the instructions.
They paid attention to the instructions.
彼らは指示に注意を払った。
Pay attention to.
Pay attention to.
Pick up.
Pick up.
を拾う。
She picked up a coin from the ground.
She picked up a coin from the ground.
彼女は地面からコインを拾った。
He picked up some groceries on the way home.
He picked up some groceries on the way home.
彼は帰りに食料品を拾った。
They picked up the pieces after the storm.
They picked up the pieces after the storm.
彼らは嵐の後に破片を拾った。
Pick up.
Pick up.
Put on.
Put on.
を着る。
She put on her coat before leaving.
She put on her coat before leaving.
彼女は出かける前にコートを着た。
He put on a hat to protect himself from the sun.
He put on a hat to protect himself from the sun.
彼は日差しから身を守るために帽子をかぶった。
They put on their uniforms for the event.
They put on their uniforms for the event.
彼らはイベントのために制服を着た。
Put on.
Put on.
Run into.
Run into.
に偶然出会う。
I ran into an old friend at the store.
I ran into an old friend at the store.
店で旧友に偶然会った。
She ran into her teacher at the library.
She ran into her teacher at the library.
彼女は図書館で先生に偶然会った。
He ran into some problems during the project.
He ran into some problems during the project.
彼はプロジェクト中にいくつかの問題に直面した。
Run into.
Run into.
Set about.
Set about.
に取り掛かる。
She set about preparing for the exam.
She set about preparing for the exam.
彼女は試験の準備に取り掛かった。
He set about fixing the car.
He set about fixing the car.
彼は車の修理に取り掛かった。
They set about cleaning the house.
They set about cleaning the house.
彼らは家の掃除に取り掛かった。
Set about.
Set about.
Set off.
Set off.
を引き起こす。
The alarm set off a loud noise.
The alarm set off a loud noise.
アラームが大きな音を立てた。
He set off the fireworks.
He set off the fireworks.
彼は花火を打ち上げた。
They set off on their journey early in the morning.
They set off on their journey early in the morning.
彼らは早朝に旅に出発した。
Set off.
Set off.
Stand out.
Stand out.
目立つ。
She stands out in a crowd.
She stands out in a crowd.
彼女は群衆の中で目立つ。
His bright tie makes him stand out.
His bright tie makes him stand out.
彼の明るいネクタイが彼を目立たせる。
They stand out for their exceptional skills.
They stand out for their exceptional skills.
彼らは卓越したスキルで目立つ。
Stand out.
Stand out.
Take in.
Take in.
を取り入れる。
She took in the beautiful scenery.
She took in the beautiful scenery.
彼女は美しい景色を取り入れた。
He took in the stray cat.
He took in the stray cat.
彼は野良猫を引き取った。
They took in a lot of information during the seminar.
They took in a lot of information during the seminar.
彼らはセミナー中に多くの情報を取り入れた。
Take in.
Take in.
Take notice of.
Take notice of.
に注意する。
She took notice of the changes in the schedule.
She took notice of the changes in the schedule.
彼女はスケジュールの変更に注意した。
He didn't take notice of the warning signs.
He didn't take notice of the warning signs.
彼は警告サインに注意を払わなかった。
They took notice of the new policy.
They took notice of the new policy.
彼らは新しい政策に注意を払った。
Take notice of.
Take notice of.
Think of.
Think of.
のことを考える。
She often thinks of her family.
She often thinks of her family.
彼女はよく家族のことを考える。
He couldn't think of a solution.
He couldn't think of a solution.
彼は解決策を考えつかなかった。
They think of their vacation plans every day.
They think of their vacation plans every day.
彼らは毎日休暇の計画を考えている。
Think of.
Think of.
Turn down.
Turn down.
を断る。
She turned down the job offer.
She turned down the job offer.
彼女はその仕事のオファーを断った。
He turned down the invitation.
He turned down the invitation.
彼はその招待を断った。
They turned down the proposal.
They turned down the proposal.
彼らはその提案を断った。
Turn down.
Turn down.
Use up.
Use up.
を使い果たす。
She used up all the flour.
She used up all the flour.
彼女は小麦粉を使い果たした。
He used up his vacation days.
He used up his vacation days.
彼は休暇日を使い果たした。
They used up the battery on the trip.
They used up the battery on the trip.
彼らは旅行中にバッテリーを使い果たした。
Use up.
Use up.
Work out.
Work out.
うまくいく。
Everything worked out in the end.
Everything worked out in the end.
結局すべてうまくいった。
He worked out the solution to the problem.
He worked out the solution to the problem.
彼はその問題の解決策を見つけ出した。
They worked out a plan for the project.
They worked out a plan for the project.
彼らはプロジェクトの計画を立てた。
Work out.
Work out.
According to.
According to.
によれば。
According to the weather forecast, it will rain.
According to the weather forecast, it will rain.
天気予報によれば雨が降る。
According to the report, sales are up.
According to the report, sales are up.
報告書によれば売上が増加している。
According to her, the meeting was a success.
According to her, the meeting was a success.
彼女によれば会議は成功だった。
According to.
According to.
Ahead of.
Ahead of.
より先に。
She finished the project ahead of schedule.
She finished the project ahead of schedule.
彼女は予定より早くプロジェクトを終えた。
He was ahead of his classmates in math.
He was ahead of his classmates in math.
彼は数学でクラスメートより先に進んでいた。
They arrived ahead of time.
They arrived ahead of time.
彼らは時間より早く到着した。
Ahead of.
Ahead of.
Apart from.
Apart from.
以外に、
Apart from math, she likes all subjects.
Apart from math, she likes all subjects.
数学以外、彼女はすべての科目が好きだ。
He has no hobbies apart from reading.
He has no hobbies apart from reading.
読書以外に趣味はない。
They are busy apart from weekends.
They are busy apart from weekends.
週末以外は忙しい。
Apart from.
Apart from.
As if.
As if.
まるでのように、
He talks as if he knows everything.
He talks as if he knows everything.
彼はまるで何でも知っているかのように話す。
She acted as if nothing had happened.
She acted as if nothing had happened.
彼女はまるで何も起こらなかったかのように振る舞った。
They looked as if they had seen a ghost.
They looked as if they had seen a ghost.
彼らはまるで幽霊を見たかのようだった。
As if.
As if.
As long as.
As long as.
する限り、
You can stay as long as you like.
You can stay as long as you like.
好きなだけ滞在できます。
As long as you are happy, I am happy.
As long as you are happy, I am happy.
あなたが幸せである限り、私も幸せです。
As long as it doesn't rain, we will go hiking.
As long as it doesn't rain, we'll go hiking.
雨が降らない限り、ハイキングに行く予定です。
As long as.
As long as.
As soon as.
As soon as.
するとすぐに、
Call me as soon as you arrive.
Call me as soon as you arrive.
到着したらすぐに電話してください。
He left as soon as he finished his work.
He left as soon as he finished his work.
彼は仕事を終えたらすぐに出発した。
They will start the meeting as soon as everyone arrives.
They will start the meeting as soon as everyone arrives.
全員が到着したらすぐに会議を始めます。
As soon as.
As soon as.
Be about to.
Be about to.
しようとしている、
She is about to leave for work.
She is about to leave for work.
彼女は仕事に行こうとしている。
He was about to call you.
He was about to call you.
彼はあなたに電話しようとしていた。
They are about to start the presentation.
They are about to start the presentation.
彼らはプレゼンテーションを始めようとしている。
Be about to.
Be about to.
Be against.
Be against.
に反対している、
She is against the new policy.
She is against the new policy.
彼女は新しい政策に反対している。
He was against the idea from the beginning.
He was against the idea from the beginning.
彼は最初からそのアイデアに反対していた。
They are against any form of discrimination.
They are against any form of discrimination.
彼らはあらゆる形の差別に反対している。
Be against.
Be against.
Be familiar with.
Be familiar with.
をよく知っている、
She is familiar with the new software.
She is familiar with the new software.
彼女は新しいソフトウェアをよく知っている。
He is familiar with the local customs.
He is familiar with the local customs.
彼は地元の風習をよく知っている。
They are familiar with the company's procedures.
They are familiar with the company's procedures.
彼らは会社の手続きをよく知っている。
Be familiar with.
Be familiar with.
Be good at.
Be good at.
が得意である。
She is good at playing the piano.
She is good at playing the piano.
彼女はピアノを弾くのが得意だ。
He is good at solving puzzles.
He is good at solving puzzles.
彼はパズルを解くのが得意だ。
They are good at managing their time.
They are good at managing their time.
彼らは時間管理が得意だ。
Be good at.
Be good at.
Be known for.
Be known for.
で知られている。
She is known for her kindness.
She is known for her kindness.
彼女は親切で知られている。
He is known for his cooking skills.
He is known for his cooking skills.
彼は料理の腕前で知られている。
They are known for their innovative ideas.
They are known for their innovative ideas.
彼らは革新的なアイデアで知られている。
Be known for.
Be known for.
Be ready to.
Be ready to.
する準備ができている。
She is ready to start the meeting.
She is ready to start the meeting.
彼女は会議を始める準備ができている。
He was ready to leave the house.
He was ready to leave the house.
彼は家を出る準備ができていた。
They are ready to present their findings.
They are ready to present their findings.
彼らは発見を発表する準備ができている。
Be ready to.
Be ready to.
Be similar to.
Be similar to.
に似ている。
Her dress is similar to mine.
Her dress is similar to mine.
彼女のドレスは私のものに似ている。
His idea is similar to yours.
His idea is similar to yours.
彼のアイデアはあなたのものに似ている。
The new policy is similar to the old one.
The new policy is similar to the old one.
新しい政策は古いものに似ている。
Be similar to.
Be similar to.
Be surprised at.
Be surprised at.
に驚く。
She was surprised at the news.
She was surprised at the news.
彼女はそのニュースに驚いた。
He was surprised at how quickly it happened.
He was surprised at how quickly it happened.
彼はそれがどれほど早く起こったかに驚いた。
They were surprised at the results.
They were surprised at the results.
彼らは結果に驚いた。
Be surprised at.
Be surprised at.
Be tired of.
Be tired of.
に飽きる。
She is tired of eating the same food every day.
She is tired of eating the same food every day.
彼女は毎日同じ食べ物を食べるのに飽きている。
He is tired of his boring job.
He is tired of his boring job.
彼は退屈な仕事に飽きている。
They are tired of the constant noise.
They are tired of the constant noise.
彼らは絶え間ない騒音に飽きている。
Be tired of.
Be tired of.
Be used to.
Be used to.
に慣れている。
She is used to waking up early.
She is used to waking up early.
彼女は早起きに慣れている。
He is used to the cold weather.
He is used to the cold weather.
彼は寒い天気に慣れている。
They are used to living in a big city.
They are used to living in a big city.
彼らは大都市での生活に慣れている。
Be used to.
Be used to.
By means of.
By means of.
の手段で。
He traveled by means of public transportation.
He traveled by means of public transportation.
彼は公共交通機関を使って移動した。
She solved the problem by means of logic.
She solved the problem by means of logic.
彼女は論理を用いて問題を解決した。
They communicated by means of letters.
They communicated by means of letters.
彼らは手紙を使って連絡を取った。
By means of.
By means of.
By the time.
By the time.
するときまでに。
By the time she arrived, the party was over.
By the time she arrived, the party was over.
彼女が到着した時には、パーティーは終わっていた。
By the time he finished, it was midnight.
By the time he finished, it was midnight.
彼が終わった時には、深夜だった。
By the time they got home, it was raining.
By the time they got home, it was raining.
彼らが家に着いた時には、雨が降っていった。
By the time.
By the time.
Cut down on.
Cut down on.
を削減する。
She decided to cut down on sugar.
She decided to cut down on sugar.
彼女は砂糖を減らすことに決めた。
He needs to cut down on expenses.
He needs to cut down on expenses.
彼は経費を削減する必要がある。
They cut down on unnecessary meetings.
They cut down on unnecessary meetings.
彼らは不要な会議を減らした。
Cut down on.
Cut down on.
End in.
End in.
で終わる。
The event ended in success.
The event ended in success.
イベントは成功に終わった。
His speech ended in applause.
His speech ended in applause.
彼のスピーチは拍手で終わった。
Their journey ended in disappointment.
Their journey ended in disappointment.
彼らの旅は失望に終わった。
End in.
End in.
Fall off.
Fall off.
落ちる。
The leaves fall off the trees in autumn.
The leaves fall off the trees in autumn.
秋には木の葉が落ちる。
He fell off his bike and got hurt.
He fell off his bike and got hurt.
彼は自転車から落ちて怪我をした。
The picture fell off the wall.
The picture fell off the wall.
絵が壁から落ちた。
Fall off.
Fall off.
Fill out.
Fill out.
に記入する。
She filled out the application form.
She filled out the application form.
彼女は申込書に記入した。
He filled out the survey online.
He filled out the survey online.
彼はオンラインでアンケートに記入した。
They filled out the necessary paperwork.
They filled out the necessary paperwork.
彼らは必要な書類に記入した。
Fill out.
Fill out.
In a hurry.
In a hurry.
急いで。
She left the house in a hurry.
She left the house in a hurry.
彼女は急いで家を出た。
He finished the work in a hurry.
He finished the work in a hurry.
彼は急いで仕事を終わらせた。
They packed their bags in a hurry.
They packed their bags in a hurry.
彼らは急いで荷物を詰めた。
In a hurry.
In a hurry.
In case of.
In case of.
の場合、
In case of fire, use the stairs.
In case of fire, use the stairs.
火事の場合は階段を使用してください。
In case of emergency, call 911.
In case of emergency, call 911.
緊急の場合は911に電話してください。
In case of rain, the event will be cancelled.
In case of rain, the event will be cancelled.
雨の場合はイベントは中止されます。
In case of.
In case of.
In fact.
In fact.
実際に、
She looks young, but in fact, she is 40.
She looks young, but in fact, she is 40.
彼女は若く見えるが、実際には40歳だ。
He said he was tired, but in fact, he was just lazy.
He said he was tired, but in fact, he was just lazy.
彼は疲れたと言ったが、実際にはただ怠けていた。
In fact, they have already finished the project.
In fact, they have already finished the project.
実際には、彼らはすでにプロジェクトを終えている。
In fact.
In fact.
In need of.
In need of.
を必要としている。
She is in need of help.
She is in need of help.
彼女は助けを必要としている。
He is in need of a vacation.
He is in need of a vacation.
彼は休暇を必要としている。
They are in need of medical supplies.
They are in need of medical supplies.
彼らは医療品を必要としている。
In need of.
In need of.
In the face of.
In the face of.
に直面して、
She remained calm in the face of danger.
She remained calm in the face of danger.
彼女は危険に直面しても冷静だった。
He showed courage in the face of adversity.
He showed courage in the face of adversity.
彼は逆境に直面しても勇気を見せた。
They didn't give up in the face of difficulties.
They didn't give up in the face of difficulties.
彼らは困難に直面しても諦めなかった。
In the face of.
In the face of.
Kick out of.
Kick out of.
から追い出す。
She was kicked out of the club.
She was kicked out of the club.
彼女はクラブから追い出された。
He was kicked out of the bar for fighting.
He was kicked out of the bar for fighting.
彼は喧嘩をしてバーから追い出された。
They were kicked out of the concert for causing trouble.
They were kicked out of the concert for causing trouble.
彼らはトラブルを起こしてコンサートから追い出された。
Kick out of.
Kick out of.
Let down.
Let down.
を失望させる。
She let down her friends.
She let down her friends.
彼女は友達を失望させた。
He felt let down by the decision.
He felt let down by the decision.
彼はその決定に失望した。
They didn't want to let down their supporters.
They didn't want to let down their supporters.
彼らは支持者を失望させたくなかった。
Let down.
Let down.
Look for.
Look for.
を探す。
She is looking for her keys.
She is looking for her keys.
彼女は鍵を探している。
He is looking for a new job.
He is looking for a new job.
彼は新しい仕事を探している。
They are looking for a good restaurant.
They are looking for a good restaurant.
彼らは良いレストランを探している。
Look for.
Look for.
Look out for.
Look out for.
に気をつける。
She always looks out for her younger brother.
She always looks out for her younger brother.
彼女はいつも弟に気をつけている。
He looks out for opportunities to learn.
He looks out for opportunities to learn.
彼は学ぶ機会を探している。
They look out for each other.
They look out for each other.
彼らはお互いに気をつけている。
Look out for.
Look out for.
Make out.
Make out.
を理解する。
She couldn't make out what he was saying.
She couldn't make out what he was saying.
彼女は彼が言っていることを理解できなかった。
He made out the words despite the noise.
He made out the words despite the noise.
彼は騒音にもかかわらず言葉を理解した。
They made out the details from the blurry photo.
They made out the details from the blurry photo.
彼らはぼやけた写真から詳細を理解した。
Make out.
Make out.
Make sure of.
Make sure of.
を確かめる。
She made sure of the address before leaving.
She made sure of the address before leaving.
彼女は出発前に住所を確かめた。
He made sure of the facts before speaking.
He made sure of the facts before speaking.
彼は話す前に事実を確かめた。
They made sure of their travel arrangements.
They made sure of their travel arrangements.
彼らは旅行の手配を確かめた。
Make sure of.
Make sure of.
On behalf of.
On behalf of.
を代表して。
She spoke on behalf of the team.
She spoke on behalf of the team.
彼女はチームを代表して話した。
He accepted the award on behalf of his company.
He accepted the award on behalf of his company.
彼は会社を代表して賞を受け取った。
They acted on behalf of their community.
They acted on behalf of their community.
彼らは地域社会を代表して行動した。
On behalf of.
On behalf of.
On one's own.
On one's own.
自分自身で。
She traveled to the city on her own.
She traveled to the city on her own.
彼女は自分自身でその都市を旅行した。
He completed the project on his own.
He completed the project on his own.
彼は自分自身でプロジェクトを完成させた。
They decided to start the business on their own.
They decided to start the business on their own.
彼らは自分たちで事業を始めることにした。
On one's own.
On one's own.
Out of date.
Out of date.
時代遅れで。
The information is out of date.
The information is out of date.
その情報は時代遅れだ。
He wore out of date clothes.
He wore out of date clothes.
彼は時代遅れの服を着ていた。
The software is out of date.
The software is out of date.
そのソフトウェアは時代遅れだ。
Out of date.
Out of date.
Prevent a from ing.
Prevent a from ing.
A がするのを防ぐ。
She prevented him from making a mistake.
She prevented him from making a mistake.
彼女は彼が間違いを犯すのを防いだ。
He prevented the accident from happening.
He prevented the accident from happening.
彼は事故が起こるのを防いだ。
They prevented the fire from spreading.
They prevented the fire from spreading.
彼らは火事が広がるのを防いだ。
Prevent a from ing.
Prevent a from ing.
Put away.
Put away.
を片付ける。
She put away the dishes after dinner.
She put away the dishes after dinner.
彼女は夕食後に皿を片付けた。
He put away his toys before bed.
He put away his toys before bed.
彼は寝る前におもちゃを片付けた。
They put away their books after studying.
They put away their books after studying.
彼らは勉強の後に本を片付けた。
Put away.
Put away.
Rely on.
Rely on.
に頼る。
She relies on her friends for support.
She relies on her friends for support.
彼女は友人の支援に頼っている。
He relies on his phone for directions.
He relies on his phone for directions.
彼は道案内のために電話に頼っている。
They rely on each other for help.
They rely on each other for help.
彼らは助け合っている。
Rely on.
Rely on.
Result in.
Result in.
という結果になる。
The changes resulted in improved performance.
The changes resulted in improved performance.
変更はパフォーマンスの向上という結果になった。
His efforts resulted in success.
His efforts resulted in success.
彼の努力は成功という結果になった。
Their actions resulted in a positive outcome.
Their actions resulted in a positive outcome.
彼らの行動は良い結果をもたらした。
Result in.
Result in.
Run out of.
Run out of.
を使い果たす。
We ran out of milk this morning.
We ran out of milk this morning.
今朝牛乳を使い果たした。
She ran out of time before finishing the test.
She ran out of time before finishing the test.
彼女は試験を終える前に時間がなくなった。
They ran out of ideas during the meeting.
They ran out of ideas during the meeting.
会議中にアイデアが尽きた。
Run out of.
Run out of.
Set up.
Set up.
を設置する。
They set up a new company.
They set up a new company.
彼らは新しい会社を設立した。
He set up the equipment for the experiment.
He set up the equipment for the experiment.
彼は実験のための機器を設置した。
She set up a meeting with the client.
She set up a meeting with the client.
彼女はクライアントとの会議を設定した。
Set up.
Set up.
Show up.
Show up.
現れる。
She showed up at the party unexpectedly.
She showed up at the party unexpectedly.
彼女は予期せずパーティーに現れた。
He always shows up late.
He always shows up late.
彼はいつも遅れて現れる。
They didn't show up for the appointment.
They didn't show up for the appointment.
彼らは約束の時間に現れなかった。
Show up.
Show up.
Stand up for.
Stand up for.
を擁護する。
She stood up for her beliefs.
She stood up for her beliefs.
彼女は自分の信念を擁護した。
He stood up for his friend in the argument.
He stood up for his friend in the argument.
彼は議論で友人を擁護した。
They stood up for their rights.
They stood up for their rights.
彼らは自分たちの権利を擁護した。
Stand up for.
Stand up for.
Succeed in.
Succeed in.
に成功する。
She succeeded in passing the exam.
She succeeded in passing the exam.
彼女は試験に合格した。
He succeeded in his business venture.
He succeeded in his business venture.
彼はビジネスの冒険に成功した。
They succeeded in solving the problem.
They succeeded in solving the problem.
彼らは問題解決に成功した。
Succeed in.
Succeed in.
Take away.
Take away.
を持ち去る。
The waiter took away the empty plates.
The waiter took away the empty plates.
ウェイターは空の皿を持ち去った。
She took away his privileges.
She took away his privileges.
彼女は彼の特権を奪った。
He took away her worries with his kind words.
He took away her worries with his kind words.
彼は親切な言葉で彼女の心配を取り除いた。
Take away.
Take away.
Take over.
Take over.
を引き継ぐ。
She will take over the project next week.
She will take over the project next week.
彼女は来週そのプロジェクトを引き継ぐ。
He took over the family business.
He took over the family business.
彼は家業を引き継いだ。
They will take over the responsibilities.
They will take over the responsibilities.
彼らはその責任を引き継ぐだろう。
Take over.
Take over.
Think over.
Think over.
を熟考する。
She needs time to think over the offer.
She needs time to think over the offer.
彼女はその提案を熟考する時間が必要だ。
He thought over the decision carefully.
He thought over the decision carefully.
彼はその決定を慎重に熟考した。
They are thinking over the proposal.
They are thinking over the proposal.
彼らはその提案を熟考している。
Think over.
Think over.
Turn in.
Turn in.
を提出する。
She turned in her homework on time.
She turned in her homework on time.
彼女は宿題を時間通りに提出した。
He turned in his resignation letter.
He turned in his resignation letter.
彼は辞表を提出した。
They turned in the project report yesterday.
They turned in the project report yesterday.
彼らは昨日プロジェクト報告書を提出した。
Turn in.
Turn in.
Wake up.
Wake up.
目覚める。
She wakes up early every morning.
She wakes up early every morning.
彼女は毎朝早く目覚める。
He woke up to the sound of birds.
He woke up to the sound of birds.
彼は鳥の声で目覚めた。
They wake up at the same time every day.
They wake up at the same time every day.
彼らは毎日同じ時間に目覚める。
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wear out.
Wear out.
を使い古す。
She wore out her favorite shoes.
She wore out her favorite shoes.
彼女はお気に入りの靴を使い古した。
He wore out the pages of the book.
He wore out the pages of the book.
彼はその本のページを使い古した。
They wore out their welcome.
They wore out their welcome.
彼らは歓迎されなくなった。
Wear out.
Wear out.
As far as.
As far as.
の及ぶ限り。
As far as I know, she is coming to the party.
As far as I know, she is coming to the party.
私の知る限り、彼女はパーティーに来る予定です。
As far as the eye can see, there are mountains.
As far as the eye can see, there are mountains.
目の届く限り山が広がっている。
As far as we can tell, everything is fine.
As far as we can tell, everything is fine.
私たちがわかる限り、すべて順調です。
As far as.
As far as.
Aside from.
Aside from.
の他に。
Aside from math, he likes all subjects.
Aside from math, he likes all subjects.
数学以外、彼はすべての科目が好きだ。
She has no hobbies aside from reading.
She has no hobbies aside from reading.
読書以外に趣味はない。
They are busy aside from weekends.
They are busy aside from weekends.
週末以外は忙しい。
Aside from.
Aside from.
At all costs.
At all costs.
どんな犠牲を払っても。
He wants to win the competition at all costs.
He wants to win the competition at all costs.
彼はどんな犠牲を払ってもその競技会に勝ちたい。
She will protect her family at all costs.
She will protect her family at all costs.
彼女はどんな犠牲を払っても家族を守るだろう。
They need to finish the project at all costs.
They need to finish the project at all costs.
どんな犠牲を払ってもプロジェクトを終わらせる必要がある。
At all costs.
At all costs.
At first.
At first.
最初は。
At first, I didn't like the idea.
At first, I didn't like the idea.
最初はそのアイデアが気に入らなかった。
At first, it seemed difficult.
At first, it seemed difficult.
最初は難しいように思えた。
At first, she was nervous, but then she relaxed.
At first, she was nervous, but then she relaxed.
最初は緊張していたが、その後リラックスした。
At first.
At first.
Cut off.
Cut off.
を切り離す。
The village was cut off by the storm.
The village was cut off by the storm.
村は嵐で孤立した。
He cut off a piece of the rope.
He cut off a piece of the rope.
彼はロープの一部を切り離した。
They cut off communication with the outside world.
They cut off communication with the outside world.
彼らは外界との通信を断った。
Cut off.
Cut off.
End up ing.
End up ing.
最終的にする。
She ended up buying the dress.
She ended up buying the dress.
彼女は結局そのドレスを買った。
He ended up getting lost.
He ended up getting lost.
彼は結局迷子になった。
They ended up staying at home.
They ended up staying at home.
彼らは結局家にいることにした。
End up ing.
End up ing.
Fill up.
Fill up.
を満たす。
She filled up the tank with gas.
She filled up the tank with gas.
彼女はタンクにガソリンを満たした。
He filled up the form with his details.
He filled up the form with his details.
彼は詳細を記入してフォームを満たした。
They filled up their plates with food.
They filled up their plates with food.
彼らは皿に食べ物を満たした。
Fill up.
Fill up.
In a sense.
In a sense.
ある意味で。
In a sense, it was a good experience.
In a sense, it was a good experience.
ある意味では、それは良い経験だった。
He is, in a sense, a genius.
He is, in a sense, a genius.
彼はある意味、天才だ。
They are, in a sense, pioneers.
They are, in a sense, pioneers.
彼らはある意味、先駆者だ。
In a sense.
In a sense.
In charge of.
In charge of.
を担当している。
She is in charge of the project.
She is in charge of the project.
彼女はそのプロジェクトを担当している。
He is in charge of the sales department.
He is in charge of the sales department.
彼は営業部を担当している。
They are in charge of organizing the event.
They are in charge of organizing the event.
彼らはイベントの組織を担当している。
In charge of.
In charge of.
In favor of.
In favor of.
に賛成して。
She is in favor of the new policy.
She is in favor of the new policy.
彼女は新しい政策に賛成している。
He voted in favor of the proposal.
He voted in favor of the proposal.
彼はその提案に賛成票を投じた。
They are all in favor of the plan.
They are all in favor of the plan.
彼らは皆その計画に賛成している。
In favor of.
In favor of.
In order that.
In order that.
するために。
She studied hard in order that she might pass.
She studied hard in order that she might pass.
彼女は合格するために一生懸命勉強した。
He worked late in order that he could finish.
He worked late in order that he could finish.
彼は終わらせるために遅くまで働いた。
They saved money in order that they could travel.
They saved money in order that they could travel.
彼らは旅行するためにお金を貯めた。
In order that.
In order that.
In the long run.
In the long run.
長い目で見れば。
In the long run, it will benefit everyone.
In the long run, it will benefit everyone.
長い目で見れば、それはみんなに利益をもたらすだろう。
It may be hard now, but in the long run, it will be worth it.
It may be hard now, but in the long run, it will be worth it.
今は大変かもしれないが、長い目で見ればそれだけの価値がある。
In the long run, good habits lead to success.
In the long run, good habits lead to success.
長い目で見れば、良い習慣は成功につながる。
In the long run.
In the long run.
Laugh at.
Laugh at.
を笑う。
She laughed at his joke.
She laughed at his joke.
彼女は彼の冗談を笑った。
He laughed at the funny movie.
He laughed at the funny movie.
彼は面白い映画を笑った。
They laughed at the surprise.
They laughed at the surprise.
彼らは驚きに笑った。
Laugh at.
Laugh at.
Live up to.
Live up to.
に応える。
She tried to live up to her parents' expectations.
She tried to live up to her parents' expectations.
彼女は両親の期待に応えようとした。
He lived up to his reputation.
He lived up to his reputation.
彼は評判に応えた。
They strive to live up to their ideals.
They strive to live up to their ideals.
彼らは理想に応えようと努力している。
Live up to.
Live up to.
Look forward to.
Look forward to.
を楽しみにする。
She is looking forward to the holidays.
She is looking forward to the holidays.
彼女は休日を楽しみにしている。
He looks forward to meeting new people.
He looks forward to meeting new people.
彼は新しい人々に会うことを楽しみにしている。
They look forward to the annual festival.
They look forward to the annual festival.
彼らは毎年の祭りを楽しみにしている。
Look forward to.
Look forward to.
Look over.
Look over.
を見渡す。
She looked over the documents carefully.
She looked over the documents carefully.
彼女は書類を注意深く見渡した。
He looked over the fence.
He looked over the fence.
彼はフェンスを見渡した。
They looked over the proposal before deciding.
They looked over the proposal before deciding.
彼らは決定する前に提案を見渡した。
Look over.
Look over.
Make sense.
Make sense.
意味をなす。
His explanation makes sense.
His explanation makes sense.
彼の説明は意味をなす。
It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me.
それは私には意味をなさない。
Everything she said makes sense.
Everything she said makes sense.
彼女が言ったことはすべて意味をなす。
Make sense.
Make sense.
Make the most of.
Make the most of.
を最大限に利用する。
She made the most of her opportunities.
She made the most of her opportunities.
彼女はチャンスを最大限に利用した。
He made the most of his free time.
He made the most of his free time.
彼は自由時間を最大限に利用した。
They made the most of their trip.
They made the most of their trip.
彼らは旅行を最大限に楽しんだ。
Make the most of.
Make the most of.
On business.
On business.
仕事で。
He is in Tokyo on business.
He is in Tokyo on business.
彼は仕事で東京にいる。
She traveled to Paris on business.
She traveled to Paris on business.
彼女は仕事でパリに旅行した。
They often go abroad on business.
They often go abroad on business.
彼らは仕事でよく海外に行く。
On business.
On business.
On one's own.
On one's own.
自力で。
She completed the project on her own.
She completed the project on her own.
彼女は自力でプロジェクトを完成させた。
He prefers to work on his own.
He prefers to work on his own.
彼は自分自身で働くのが好きだ。
They decided to start the business on their own.
They decided to start the business on their own.
彼らは自分たちで事業を始めることにした。
On one's own.
On one's own.
Out of order.
Out of order.
故障している。
The elevator is out of order.
The elevator is out of order.
エレベーターが故障している。
The vending machine is out of order.
The vending machine is out of order.
自動販売機が故障している。
The sign says the restroom is out of order.
The sign says the restroom is out of order.
標識にはトイレが故障していると書いてある。
Out of order.
Out of order.
Provide A with B.
Provide A with B.
A に B を提供する。
She provided him with all the information he needed.
She provided him with all the information he needed.
彼女は彼に必要な情報をすべて提供した。
He provided the team with new equipment.
He provided the team with new equipment.
彼はチームに新しい機器を提供した。
They provided the community with support.
They provided the community with support.
彼らは地域社会に支援を提供した。
Provide A with B.
Provide A with B.
Put forward.
Put forward.
を提案する。
She put forward a new idea at the meeting.
She put forward a new idea at the meeting.
彼女は会議で新しいアイデアを提案した。
He put forward a plan for the project.
He put forward a plan for the project.
彼はプロジェクトの計画を提案した。
They put forward several suggestions.
They put forward several suggestions.
彼らはいくつかの提案をした。
Put forward.
Put forward.
Remind A of B.
Remind A of B.
A に B を思い出させる。
The smell of the sea reminds me of my childhood.
The smell of the sea reminds me of my childhood.
海の匂いが私に子供時代を思い出させる。
This song reminds him of his first love.
This song reminds him of his first love.
この歌は彼に初恋を思い出させる。
The photo reminds them of their trip to Italy.
The photo reminds them of their trip to Italy.
この写真は彼らにイタリア旅行を思い出させる。
Remind A of B.
Remind A of B.
Rob A of B.
Rob A of B.
A から B を奪う。
The thief robbed her of her purse.
The thief robbed her of her purse.
泥棒は彼女から財布を奪った。
He was robbed of his watch.
He was robbed of his watch.
彼は時計を奪われた。
They robbed the bank of thousands of dollars.
They robbed the bank of thousands of dollars.
彼らは銀行から何千ドルも奪った。
Rob A of B.
Rob A of B.
Run over.
Run over.
を引く。
She accidentally ran over a squirrel.
She accidentally ran over a squirrel.
彼女は誤ってリスを引いた。
He almost ran over a pedestrian.
He almost ran over a pedestrian.
彼は歩行者を引きそうになった。
They saw a car run over a pothole.
They saw a car run over a pothole.
彼らは車が穴を引くのを見た。
Run over.
Run over.
Set up.
Set up.
を設立する。
They set up a new company.
They set up a new company.
彼らは新しい会社を設立した。
He set up the equipment for the experiment.
He set up the equipment for the experiment.
彼は実験のための機器を設置した。
She set up a meeting with the client.
She set up a meeting with the client.
彼女はクライアントとの会議を設定した。
Set up.
Set up.
Show up at.
Show up at.
に現れる。
She showed up at the party unexpectedly.
She showed up at the party unexpectedly.
彼女は予期せずパーティーに現れた。
He always shows up late to meetings.
He always shows up late to meetings.
彼はいつも会議に遅れて現れる。
They didn't show up at the appointment.
They didn't show up at the appointment.
彼らは約束の時間に現れなかった。
Show up at.
Show up at.
Stand up to.
Stand up to.
に抵抗する。
She stood up to the bully.
She stood up to the bully.
彼女はいじめっ子に立ち向かった。
He stood up to his boss.
He stood up to his boss.
彼は上司に立ち向かった。
They stood up to the unfair treatment.
They stood up to the unfair treatment.
彼らは不公平な扱いに立ち向かった。
Stand up to.
Stand up to.
Suffer from.
Suffer from.
に苦しむ。
She suffers from allergies.
She suffers from allergies.
彼女はアレルギーに苦しんでいる。
He suffers from chronic pain.
He suffers from chronic pain.
彼は慢性的な痛みに苦しんでいる。
They suffer from a lack of resources.
They suffer from a lack of resources.
彼らは資源不足に苦しんでいる。
Suffer from.
Suffer from.
Take back.
Take back.
を撤回する。
She took back her words.
She took back her words.
彼女は自分の言葉を撤回した。
He took back the faulty product.
He took back the faulty product.
彼は不良品を回収した。
They took back the offer.
They took back the offer.
彼らはその提案を撤回した。
Take back.
Take back.
Take part in.
Take part in.
に参加する。
She takes part in the local theater group.
She takes part in the local theater group.
彼女は地元の劇団に参加している。
He took part in the marathon last year.
He took part in the marathon last year.
彼は昨年マラソンに参加した。
They are taking part in the charity event.
They are taking part in the charity event.
彼らはチャリティーイベントに参加している。
Take part in.
Take part in.
Throw away.
Throw away.
を捨てる。
She threw away the old magazines.
She threw away the old magazines.
彼女は古い雑誌を捨てた。
He threw away the broken toys.
He threw away the broken toys.
彼は壊れたおもちゃを捨てた。
They threw away the spoiled food.
They threw away the spoiled food.
彼らは腐った食べ物を捨てた。
Throw away.
Throw away.
Turn into.
Turn into.
に変わる。
The caterpillar turned into a butterfly.
The caterpillar turned into a butterfly.
芋虫が蝶に変わった。
She turned the old house into a beautiful home.
She turned the old house into a beautiful home.
彼女は古い家を美しい家に変えた。
The situation turned into a disaster.
The situation turned into a disaster.
その状況は災害に変わった。
Turn into.
Turn into.
Walk out on.
Walk out on.
を見捨てる。
She walked out on her family.
She walked out on her family.
彼女は家族を見捨てた。
He walked out on the job.
He walked out on the job.
彼は仕事を放棄した。
They walked out on the negotiation.
They walked out on the negotiation.
彼らは交渉を放棄した。
Walk out on.
Walk out on.
Wear out.
Wear out.
を使い果たす、すり減らす。
She wore out her favorite shoes.
She wore out her favorite shoes.
彼女はお気に入りの靴を使い果たした。
He wore out the pages of the book.
He wore out the pages of the book.
彼はその本のページを使い果たした。
They wore out their welcome.
They wore out their welcome.
彼らは歓迎されなくなった。
Wear out.
Wear out.
Deal in.
Deal in.
を扱う。
They deal in rare books.
They deal in rare books.
彼らは希少本を扱っている。
He deals in antiques.
He deals in antiques.
彼は骨董品を扱っている。
The company deals in electronic goods.
The company deals in electronic goods.
その会社は電子製品を扱っている。
Deal in.
Deal in.
Fall apart.
Fall apart.
崩壊する。
The old building is falling apart.
The old building is falling apart.
古い建物が崩壊している。
She fell apart after the news.
She fell apart after the news.
彼女はそのニュースに打ちのめされた。
The relationship fell apart.
The relationship fell apart.
その関係は崩壊した。
Fall apart.
Fall apart.
Figure out.
Figure out.
を理解する。
He figured out how to fix the problem.
He figured out how to fix the problem.
彼はその問題の解決方法を理解した。
She finally figured out the answer to the question.
She finally figured out the answer to the question.
彼女はついにその質問の答えを理解した。
They figured out a way to save money.
They figured out a way to save money.
彼らはお金を節約する方法を見つけ出した。
Figure out.
Figure out.
Find out.
Find out.
を見つけ出す。
She found out the truth about the situation.
She found out the truth about the situation.
彼女はその状況の真実を見つけ出した。
He found out that he passed the exam.
He found out that he passed the exam.
彼は試験に合格したことを知った。
They found out how to solve the puzzle.
They found out how to solve the puzzle.
彼らはパズルの解き方を見つけ出した。
Find out.
Find out.
In a way.
In a way.
ある意味で。
In a way, it was a blessing in disguise.
In a way, it was a blessing in disguise.
ある意味では、それは災い転じて福となるだった。
He is, in a way, responsible for the outcome.
He is, in a way, responsible for the outcome.
彼はある意味、その結果に責任がある。
They are, in a way, pioneers in their field.
They are, in a way, pioneers in their field.
彼らはある意味、彼らの分野の先駆者だ。
In a way.
In a way.
In common.
In common.
共通して、
They have a lot in common.
They have a lot in common.
彼らには多くの共通点がある。
She and her sister have nothing in common.
She and her sister have nothing in common.
彼女と彼女の姉妹には共通点がない。
He found that they had much in common.
He found that they had much in common.
彼は彼らに多くの共通点があることに気づいた。
In common.
In common.
In front of.
In front of.
の前に、
She stood in front of the mirror.
She stood in front of the mirror.
彼女は鏡の前に立った。
He parked his car in front of the house.
He parked his car in front of the house.
彼は家の前に車を駐車した。
They waited in front of the restaurant.
They waited in front of the restaurant.
彼らはレストランの前で待った。
In front of.
In front of.
In order to.
In order to.
するために、
She studied hard in order to pass the exam.
She studied hard in order to pass the exam.
彼女は試験に合格するために一生懸命勉強した。
He saved money in order to buy a new car.
He saved money in order to buy a new car.
彼は新しい車を買うためにお金を貯めた。
They exercised regularly in order to stay healthy.
They exercised regularly in order to stay healthy.
彼らは健康を保つために定期的に運動した。
In order to.
In order to.
In the meantime.
In the meantime.
その間に、
The new software will be installed soon. In the meantime, let's use the old one.
The new software will be installed soon. In the meantime, let's use the old one.
新しいソフトウェアはすぐにインストールされます。その間、古いソフトウェアを使いましょ
She'll be back soon. In the meantime, keep studying.
She'll be back soon. In the meantime, keep studying.
う。彼女はすぐに戻ります。その間、勉強を続けてください。
He'll prepare dinner. In the meantime, set the table.
He'll prepare dinner. In the meantime, set the table.
彼が夕食を準備します。その間、テーブルを整えてください。
In the meantime.
In the meantime.
Lead to.
Lead to.
につながる。
Hard work leads to success.
Hard work leads to success.
努力は成功につながる。
Lack of sleep can lead to health problems.
Lack of sleep can lead to health problems.
睡眠不足は健康問題につながることがある。
Their efforts led to a breakthrough.
Their efforts led to a breakthrough.
彼らの努力は大きな発見につながった。
Lead to.
Lead to.
Long for.
Long for.
を切望する。
She longed for a peaceful life.
She longed for a peaceful life.
彼女は平穏な生活を切望していた。
He longed for the days of his youth.
He longed for the days of his youth.
彼は若い頃の日々を切望していた。
They long for a world without conflict.
They long for a world without conflict.
彼らは紛争のない世界を切望している。
Long for.
long for,
Look into.
look into.
を調査する。
The police are looking into the case.
The police are looking into the case.
警察はその事件を調査している。
She will look into the matter immediately.
She will look into the matter immediately.
彼女はすぐにその問題を調査するだろう。
They are looking into the cause of the accident.
They are looking into the cause of the accident.
彼らは事故の原因を調査している。
Look into.
Look into,
Look through.
look through.
に目を通す。
She looked through the documents carefully.
She looked through the documents carefully.
彼女は書類に注意深く目を通した。
He looked through the photos on his phone.
He looked through the photos on his phone.
彼は携帯電話の写真に目を通した。
They looked through the proposal before deciding.
They looked through the proposal before deciding.
彼らは決定する前に提案に目を通した。
Look through.
Look through.
Make sense of.
Make sense of.
の意味を理解する。
She couldn't make sense of the instructions.
She couldn't make sense of the instructions.
彼女は指示の意味を理解できなかった。
He tried to make sense of the complex data.
He tried to make sense of the complex data.
彼は複雑なデータの意味を理解しようとした。
They made sense of the situation.
They made sense of the situation.
彼らは状況の意味を理解した。
Make sense of.
Make sense of.
Make up.
Make up.
を作り上げる。
They made up a story to entertain the children.
They made up a story to entertain the children.
子供たちを楽しませるために話を作り上げた。
She made up an excuse for being late.
She made up an excuse for being late.
彼女は遅刻の言い訳を作り上げた。
He made up the rules for the game.
He made up the rules for the game.
彼はゲームのルールを作り上げた。
Make up.
Make up.
On condition that.
On condition that.
という条件で。
She agreed to help on condition that he paid her.
She agreed to help on condition that he paid her.
彼女は彼が支払うという条件で手伝うことに同意した。
He will lend you the book on condition that you return it.
He will lend you the book on condition that you return it.
彼は本を返すという条件で本を貸します。
They will go on the trip on condition that it doesn't rain.
They will go on the trip on condition that it doesn't rain.
雨が降らないという条件で旅行に行く予定です。
On condition that.
On condition that.
On purpose.
On purpose.
わざと。
She broke the vase on purpose.
She broke the vase on purpose.
彼女はわざと花瓶を壊した。
He did it on purpose to get attention.
He did it on purpose to get attention.
彼は注意を引くためにわざとやった。
They left the door open on purpose.
They left the door open on purpose.
彼らはわざとドアを開けておいた。
On purpose.
On purpose.
Out of order.
Out of order.
故障して。
The elevator is out of order.
The elevator is out of order.
エレベーターが故障している。
The vending machine is out of order.
The vending machine is out of order.
自動販売機が故障している。
The sign says the restroom is out of order.
The sign says the restroom is out of order.
標識にはトイレが故障していると書いてある。
Out of order.
Out of order.
Put an end to.
Put an end to.
を終わらせる。
They put an end to the debate.
They put an end to the debate.
彼らはその議論を終わらせた。
She decided to put an end to the rumors.
She decided to put an end to the rumors.
彼女は噂を終わらせることに決めた。
He put an end to their argument.
He put an end to their argument.
彼は彼らの議論を終わらせた。
Put an end to.
Put an end to.
Put into practice.
Put into practice.
実行する。
She put her ideas into practice.
She put her ideas into practice.
彼女は自分のアイデアを実行に移した。
He put the plan into practice.
He put the plan into practice.
彼はその計画を実行に移した。
They put their training into practice.
They put their training into practice.
彼らは訓練を実行に移した。
Put into practice.
Put into practice.
Result from.
Result from.
から生じる。
The problems resulted from poor planning.
The problems resulted from poor planning.
問題は計画不足から生じた。
His illness resulted from overwork.
His illness resulted from overwork.
彼の病気は過労から生じた。
The delay resulted from bad weather.
The delay resulted from bad weather.
遅れは悪天候から生じた。
Result from.
Result from.
Run after.
Run after.
を追いかける。
The dog ran after the cat.
The dog ran after the cat.
犬が猫を追いかけた。
She ran after the bus but missed it.
She ran after the bus but missed it.
彼女はバスを追いかけたが、乗り遅れた。
He ran after his dream of becoming a singer.
He ran after his dream of becoming a singer.
彼は歌手になる夢を追いかけた。
Run after.
Run after.
See off.
See off.
を見送る。
She went to the airport to see him off.
She went to the airport to see him off.
彼女は彼を見送るために空港に行った。
He saw his friends off at the station.
He saw his friends off at the station.
彼は友人を駅で見送った。
They saw off their guests at the door.
They saw off their guests at the door.
彼らはゲストをドアで見送った。
See off.
See off.
Show off.
Show off.
見せびらかす。
She loves to show off her new clothes.
She loves to show off her new clothes.
彼女は新しい服を見せびらかすのが好きだ。
He always shows off his knowledge.
He always shows off his knowledge.
彼はいつも自分の知識を見せびらかす。
They showed off their dance moves.
They showed off their dance moves.
彼らはダンスの動きを見せびらかした。
Show off.
Show off.
Speak of.
Speak of.
について言及する。
She often speaks of her travels.
She often speaks of her travels.
彼女はよく旅行について話す。
He speaks of his childhood with nostalgia.
He speaks of his childhood with nostalgia.
彼はノスタルジーを持って子供時代について話す。
They spoke of the future plans.
They spoke of the future plans.
彼らは将来の計画について話した。
Speak of.
Speak of.
Stay up.
Stay up.
起きている。
She stayed up late to finish her homework.
She stayed up late to finish her homework.
彼女は宿題を終わらせるために遅くまで起きていた。
He stayed up all night playing games.
He stayed up all night playing games.
彼は一晩中ゲームをして起きていた。
They stayed up to watch the meteor shower.
They stayed up to watch the meteor shower.
彼らは流星群を見るために起きていた。
Stay up.
Stay up.
Sum up.
Sum up.
を要約する。
She summed up the main points of the discussion.
She summed up the main points of the discussion.
彼女は議論の主要なポイントを要約した。
He summed up the report in a few sentences.
He summed up the report in a few sentences.
彼は報告書を数文で要約した。
They summed up their findings in the conclusion.
They summed up their findings in the conclusion.
彼らは結論に発見を要約した。
Sum up.
Sum up.
Take care of.
Take care of.
の世話をする。
She takes care of her younger brother.
She takes care of her younger brother.
彼女は弟の世話をしている。
He takes care of the garden.
He takes care of the garden.
彼は庭の手入れをしている。
They take care of their pets together.
They take care of their pets together.
彼らは一緒にペットの世話をしている。
Take care of.
Take care of.
Take place.
Take place.
起こる。
The concert will take place next week.
The concert will take place next week.
コンサートは来週開催される。
The meeting took place in the main hall.
The meeting took place in the main hall.
会議は大ホールで行われた。
The event takes place every year in July.
The event takes place every year in July.
イベントは毎年7月に行われる。
Take place.
Take place.
To the point.
To the point.
的を射て。
Her comments were brief and to the point.
Her comments were brief and to the point.
彼女のコメントは簡潔で的を射ていた。
He made a point to be clear and to the point.
He made a point to be clear and to the point.
彼は明確かつ敵を打った意見を述べた。
Their advice was helpful and to the point.
Their advice was helpful and to the point.
彼らのアドバイスは有益で的を射ていた。
To the point.
To the point.
Turn off.
Turn off.
を消す。
She turned off the lights before leaving.
She turned off the lights before leaving.
彼女は出かける前にライトを消した。
He turned off his phone during the meeting.
He turned off his phone during the meeting.
彼は会議中に電話を切った。
They turned off the TV to focus on their studies.
They turned off the TV to focus on their studies.
彼らは勉強に集中するためにテレビを消した。
Turn off.
Turn off.
Watch out.
Watch out.
注意する。
Watch out for cars when crossing the street.
Watch out for cars when crossing the street.
通りを渡るときは車に注意して。
He told her to watch out for pickpockets.
He told her to watch out for pickpockets.
彼は彼女にスリに注意するように言った。
They need to watch out for changes in the weather.
They need to watch out for changes in the weather.
彼らは天候の変化に注意する必要がある。
Watch out.
Watch out.
With respect to.
With respect to.
に関して、
With respect to the proposal, I have some concerns.
With respect to the proposal, I have some concerns.
提案に関していくつか懸念があります。
She spoke with respect to the recent changes.
She spoke with respect to the recent changes.
彼女は最近の変化について話しました。
They made a decision with respect to the budget.
They made a decision with respect to the budget.
彼らは予算に関して決定を下した。
With respect to.
With respect to.
At a loss.
At a loss.
途方に暮れて、
She was at a loss for words.
She was at a loss for words.
彼女は言葉に詰まった。
He felt at a loss after losing his job.
He felt at a loss after losing his job.
彼は仕事を失って途方に暮れた。
They were at a loss about what to do next.
They were at a loss about what to do next.
彼らは次に何をすべきか途方に暮れた。
At a loss.
At a loss.
At all.
At all.
全く、
She didn't understand the instructions at all.
She didn't understand the instructions at all.
彼女は指示を全く理解できなかった。
He isn't tired at all.
He isn't tired at all.
彼は全く疲れていない。
They didn't like the movie at all.
They didn't like the movie at all.
彼らはその映画を全く気に入らなかった。
At all.
At all.
At hand.
At hand.
手元に、
Keep your notes at hand during the meeting.
Keep your notes at hand during the meeting.
会議中にメモを手元に置いてください。
She always has a pen at hand.
She always has a pen at hand.
彼女はいつもペンを手元に置いている。
He kept the manual at hand while assembling the furniture.
He kept the manual at hand while assembling the furniture.
彼は家具を組み立てる際にマニュアルを手元に置いていた。
At hand.
At hand.
At once.
At once.
すぐに、
Please come here at once.
Please come here at once.
すぐにここに来てください。
She answered the phone at once.
She answered the phone at once.
彼女はすぐに電話に出た。
He recognized her at once.
He recognized her at once.
彼はすぐに彼女を認識した。
At once.
At once.
By all means.
By all means.
ぜひとも、
By all means, let's proceed with the plan.
By all means, let's proceed with the plan.
ぜひとも、その計画を進めましょう。
She said, by all means, use my office.
She said, by all means, use my office.
彼女は、ぜひとも私のオフィスを使ってくださいと言った。
He will attend the meeting by all means.
He will attend the meeting by all means.
彼はぜひともその会議に出席するだろう。
By all means.
By all means.
By no means.
By no means.
決してない、
He is by no means a beginner.
He is by no means a beginner.
彼は決して初心者ではない。
She is by no means satisfied with the results.
She is by no means satisfied with the results.
彼女は決して結果に満足していない。
They are by no means ready to leave.
They are by no means ready to leave.
彼らは決して出発の準備ができていない。
By no means.
By no means.
By oneself.
By oneself.
独力で、
She completed the task by herself.
She completed the task by herself.
彼女は独力でそのタスクを完成させた。
He traveled to the city by himself.
He traveled to the city by himself.
彼は独力でその都市に旅行した。
They built the project by themselves.
They built the project by themselves.
彼らは独力でプロジェクトを構築した。
By oneself.
By oneself.
Go on.
Go on.
続ける。
She decided to go on with her studies.
She decided to go on with her studies.
彼女は勉強を続けることに決めた。
He went on talking despite the interruptions.
He went on talking despite the interruptions.
彼は中断にもかかわらず話し続けた。
They went on working until late at night.
They went on working until late at night.
彼らは夜遅くまで働き続けた。
Go on.
Go on.
Go through with.
Go through with.
をやり遂げる。
She went through with the plan despite the risks.
She went through with the plan despite the risks.
彼女はリスクにもかかわらず計画をやり遂げた。
He went through with his promise to help.
He went through with his promise to help.
彼は助けるという約束を果たした。
They went through with the project despite the challenges.
They went through with the project despite the challenges.
彼らは困難にもかかわらずプロジェクトをやり遂げた。
Go through with.
Go through with.
Grow up.
Grow up.
成長する。
She grew up in a small village.
She grew up in a small village.
彼女は小さな村で成長した。
He wants to be a doctor when he grows up.
He wants to be a doctor when he grows up.
彼は大人になったら医者になりたい。
They grew up together and are still friends.
They grew up together and are still friends.
彼らは一緒に成長し、今も友達だ。
Grow up.
Grow up.
Hang on to.
Hang on to.
にしがみつく。
She hung on to the railing to avoid falling.
She hung onto the railing to avoid falling.
彼女は転ばないように手すりにしがみついた。
He hung on to his old beliefs.
He hung on to his old beliefs.
彼は古い信念にしがみついていた。
They hung on to their last hope.
They hung on to their last hope.
彼らは最後の希望にしがみついた。
Hang on to.
Hang on to.
Hang up.
Hang up.
をかける。
She hung up her coat in the closet.
She hung up her coat in the closet.
彼女はコートをクローゼットにかけた。
He hung up the phone after the call.
He hung up the phone after the call.
彼は電話の後に電話を切った。
They hung up the decorations for the party.
They hung up the decorations for the party.
彼らはパーティーの飾りをかけた。
Hang up.
Hang up.
Have an influence on.
Have an influence on.
に影響を与える。
Her speech had a strong influence on the audience.
Her speech had a strong influence on the audience.
彼女のスピーチは聴衆に強い影響を与えた。
He has a positive influence on his peers.
He has a positive influence on his peers.
彼は仲間に良い影響を与えている。
The book had a profound influence on him.
The book had a profound influence on him.
その本は彼に深い影響を与えた。
Have an influence on.
Have an influence on.
Make a reservation.
Make a reservation.
予約する。
She made a reservation at the restaurant.
She made a reservation at the restaurant.
彼女はレストランの予約をした。
He made a reservation for a hotel room.
He made a reservation for a hotel room.
彼はホテルの部屋を予約した。
They made a reservation for the concert tickets.
They made a reservation for the concert tickets.
彼らはコンサートのチケットを予約した。
Make a reservation.
Make a reservation.
Make an effort.
Make an effort.
努力する。
She made an effort to improve her grades.
She made an effort to improve her grades.
彼女は成績を上げるために努力した。
He made an effort to learn a new language.
He made an effort to learn a new language.
彼は新しい言語を学ぶために努力した。
They made an effort to clean the house.
They made an effort to clean the house.
彼らは家を掃除するために努力した。
Make an effort.
Make an effort.
Make fun of.
Make fun of.
をからかう。
She made fun of his accent.
She made fun of his accent.
彼女は彼のアクセントをからかった。
He made fun of her for being late.
He made fun of her for being late.
彼は彼女が遅れたことをからかった。
They made fun of the movie's plot.
They made fun of the movie's plot.
彼らは映画のプロットをからかった。
Make fun of.
Make fun of.
Occur to.
Occur to.
の心に浮かぶ。
It occurred to her that she forgot her keys.
It occurred to her that she forgot her keys.
彼女は鍵を忘れたことに気づいた。
It suddenly occurred to him that he left the stove on.
It suddenly occurred to him that he left the stove on.
彼は突然、ストーブをつけっぱなしにしたことに気づいた。
It didn't occur to them that it might rain.
It didn't occur to them that it might rain.
彼らは雨が降るかもしれないとは思わなかった。
Occur to.
Occur to.
On account of.
On account of.
のために。
The event was cancelled on account of the weather.
The event was cancelled on account of the weather.
イベントは天候のために中止された。
He couldn't attend the meeting on account of illness.
He couldn't attend the meeting on account of illness.
彼は病気のため会議に出席できなかった。
They arrived late on account of traffic.
They arrived late on account of traffic.
彼らは交通渋滞のため遅れて到着した。
On account of.
On account of.
On the whole.
On the whole.
全体として。
On the whole, the project was a success.
On the whole, the project was a success.
全体として、そのプロジェクトは成功だった。
On the whole, she is satisfied with her job.
On the whole, she is satisfied with her job.
全体として、彼女は仕事に満足している。
On the whole, the weather was good during the trip.
On the whole, the weather was good during the trip.
全体として、旅行中の天気は良かった。
On the whole.
On the whole.
Out of control.
Out of control.
制御不能で。
The fire got out of control quickly.
The fire got out of control quickly.
火事がすぐに制御不能になった。
His anger got out of control.
His anger got out of control.
彼の怒りが制御不能になった。
The situation spiraled out of control.
The situation spiraled out of control.
状況が制御不能に陥った。
Out of control.
Out of control.
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
突然に。
She called me out of the blue.
She called me out of the blue.
彼女は突然私に電話をかけてきた。
The offer came out of the blue.
The offer came out of the blue.
その申し出は突然だった。
He appeared out of the blue at the party.
He appeared out of the blue at the party.
彼はパーティーに突然現れた。
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Pass away.
Pass away.
亡くなる。
Her grandfather passed away last year.
Her grandfather passed away last year.
彼女の祖父は昨年亡くなった。
He was saddened to hear that his friend passed away.
He was saddened to hear that his friend passed away.
彼は友人が亡くなったと聞いて悲しんだ。
Many people gathered to mourn those who passed away.
Many people gathered to mourn those who passed away.
亡くなった人々を悼むために多くの人々が集まった。
Pass away.
Pass away.
Pay for.
Pay for.
の代金を払う。
She paid for the meal.
She paid for the meal.
彼女は食事代を払った。
He paid for his new car in cash.
He paid for his new car in cash.
彼は新しい車の代金を現金で払った。
They paid for their tickets online.
They paid for their tickets online.
彼らはオンラインでチケットを払った。
Pay for.
Pay for.
Play a role in.
Play a role in.
で役割を果たす。
She played a key role in the negotiations.
She played a key role in the negotiations.
彼女は交渉で重要な役割を果たした。
He played a role in the team's victory.
He played a role in the team's victory.
彼はチームの勝利で役割を果たした。
They play a role in maintaining community peace.
They play a role in maintaining community peace.
彼らは地域の平和を維持する役割を果たしている。
Play a role in.
Play a role in.
Put up with.
Put up with.
を我慢する。
She can't put up with the noise anymore.
She can't put up with the noise anymore.
彼女はもうこれ以上騒音を我慢できない。
He put up with his boss's demands.
He put up with his boss's demands.
彼は上司の要求を我慢した。
They put up with the cold weather.
They put up with the cold weather.
彼らは寒い天気を我慢した。
Put up with.
Put up with.
Refer to.
Refer to.
に言及する。
She often refers to her notes during meetings.
She often refers to her notes during meetings.
彼女は会議中によくノートに言及する。
He referred to the manual for instructions.
He referred to the manual for instructions.
彼は手順書を参照した。
They referred to the map to find their way.
They referred to the map to find their way.
彼らは道を見つけるために地図を参照した。
Refer to.
Refer to.
Run away from.
Run away from.
から逃げる。
The dog ran away from home.
The dog ran away from home.
犬が家から逃げた。
She ran away from her responsibilities.
She ran away from her responsibilities.
彼女は責任から逃げた。
They ran away from the danger.
They ran away from the danger.
彼らは危険から逃げた。
Run away from.
Run away from.
Set about.
Set about.
に取り掛かる。
She set about preparing for the exam.
She set about preparing for the exam.
彼女は試験の準備に取り掛かった。
He set about fixing the car.
He set about fixing the car.
彼は車の修理に取り掛かった。
They set about cleaning the house.
They set about cleaning the house.
彼らは家の掃除に取り掛かった。
Set about.
Set about.
Set aside.
Set aside.
を取っておく。
She set aside some money for the trip.
She set aside some money for the trip.
彼女は旅行のためにお金を取っておいた。
He set aside his differences to work together.
He set aside his differences to work together.
彼は一緒に働くために自分の違いを取っておいた。
They set aside time each day to practice.
They set aside time each day to practice.
彼らは毎日練習のために時間を取っておいた。
Set aside.
Set aside.
Set out.
Set out.
出発する。
They set out on their journey early in the morning.
They set out on their journey early in the morning.
彼らは早朝に旅に出発した。
He set out to explore the city.
He set out to explore the city.
彼は市内を探索するために出発した。
She set out to achieve her goals.
She set out to achieve her goals.
彼女は目標を達成するために出発した。
Set out.
Set out.
Take advantage of.
Take advantage of.
を利用する。
She took advantage of the sale.
She took advantage of the sale.
彼女はセールを利用した。
He took advantage of the opportunity.
He took advantage of the opportunity.
彼はその機会を利用した。
They took advantage of the situation.
They took advantage of the situation.
彼らは状況を利用した。
Take advantage of.
Take advantage of.
Take off.
Take off.
を脱ぐ。
She took off her coat when she got home.
She took off her coat when she got home.
彼女は家に帰るとコートを脱いだ。
He took off his shoes before entering the house.
He took off his shoes before entering the house.
彼は家に入る前に靴を脱いだ。
They took off their hats out of respect.
They took off their hats out of respect.
彼らは敬意を表して帽子を脱いだ。
Take off.
Take off.